Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about why people fail. Now, this is not usually what I talk about on this channel. I usually summarize a book or talk about a short story, a work of fiction, nonfiction, and just talk about the significance of the work and summarize it. But recently, I was asked on the channel, what do I get out of posting so many book videos? What lessons do I get from it myself? And usually I keep those to myself because I learn a lot, about life in general from novels and books. But I usually kept those to myself, and you know, books in general have taught me a lot about life. And since I read so much, when I watch a movie, when I watch a series, I can oftentimes look at it from different angles and different perspectives, and get a different meaning from a popular movie that everybody watches. Because when you read a lot about characters and individuals, and what can be going on in somebody's head, you get to understand the world better. So every book that I pick up, every short story that I pick up, even the ones that everybody hates, I can find some good advice in there. I can find a theme that is just worth exploring. And by reading a lot, there's a lot of pitfalls in life that I avoid, because the authors that write, the novels that are renowned in the United States or around the world, they spend months, years, decades writing their books. So they pour their souls, their entire being into these books. Certain authors, they spend a week or two on just writing two or three sentences because they want it to be perfect. They want it to be just right. I mean, some authors are insane when it comes to the intensity and the passion and the energy that they use on one single short story or book, because they really pour themselves into it. And we can learn a lot from them, because I've talked about works from the 16th century, 18th, 17th. I mean, every century where there is writing, early writings, late writings, whatever, modern writings. I've talked about a lot of different books on this channel, and a lot of different essays and short stories. They all have a point about life and reality, and they're all universal. And I think we can still use them. We can still use them today to a great extent. I mean, the Bible was written thousands of years ago, and every Sunday there is a new perspective, a new angle yeah, a new angle that is being looked at. Just the Bible alone. So books never expire. Different perspectives are always being displayed, and today we're going to talk about failure, because that's one thing that I've learned from books. How to not fail, and what causes a lot of people to fail. And the books that we're going to use to talk about failure today is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. We're also going to be talking about Letter from a Birmingham Jail by Martin Luther King, and Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller. So we're going to use those three books and the examples within them to talk about why so many people fail. Those works, they don't specifically talk about failure, but within those works, there are specific examples that I could bring up to you guys that show you why failure exists and why a lot of people fail. So let's just dive right into it. With Great Expectations, what happens in that, basically, the main character by the name of Pip, people help him throughout his entire life. At the beginning of that book of Great Expectations, Pip is being taken care of by his sister because his parents are dead. Miss Havisham gives him a job within the book, and also a convict later helps him out and finances his education, all of that kind of stuff. Great Expectations, I mean, it's right on the title, Great Expectations. Success, wealth, power, prestige, assets, great expectations, right? Pip, he was kind of like groomed to be great. It sounded like, from the get-go of the novel, that he was going to be somebody great. And I can see that a lot of people, and if you're watching right now, there are a lot of people in the world where, as soon as you explode out of the womb, There's, some people put a blessing on your life, or people already automatically tell you that you're destined to be great, you're destined to be successful. But the thing is, like, that doesn't happen without working for it. That doesn't happen without sweating for it. If you're a Christian or if you're religious, if you look at the religious texts in the world, I mean, the Bible, the prophets, the main characters, the people who believe in God and who follow God and who are servants of God, they go through a lot of hardships. I mean, the Israelites spent 40 years living in the desert, and that's not fun. And they were destined for great things. So being destined for great things doesn't mean it just automatically happens. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to sweat for it. You are going to have to shed some tears for it. Because in order to be number one, in order to be the best, in order to be the greatest, you have to beat everyone else. Because that's the whole point of being number one in a field. No matter what it is. If you're in the STEM field, if you are in the arts, if you want to get a degree, whatever field you want to excel in, you are going to have to sweat for it. And what does that mean in terms of actions, right? That means if you have to get up at 2 in the morning, if you have to get up at 3 in the morning and work hard for something, you have to do it. If you have to put in 10 hours of studying per day, you have to do it. You find that in all works of literature, and just in reality, if you watch sports, if you love sports, the most well-known athletes, the best of all times, the GOATs of sports, you can read their bios. There are people that get up really early in the morning and practice their craft. Great musicians, great people who write poems, actors, they put in the work, and it's backbreaking work. No matter what you're doing, if you want to not fail, you are going to have to go through those tough times. But the thing is, what happens to most people is that as soon as they start doing something, they start chasing after a dream, it becomes hard. They don't see the success coming right away. They give up. I mean, just on YouTube, when I started my YouTube channel, it was just a passion of mine. It was just something I did as a hobby, and I still do it as a hobby. But my first 50 videos, nobody was watching them. I mean, most of my videos had like 5 views, and I was 4 of those views. So no one was watching them, and then there was one day, I got 100 views on one video, and I'm no near anywhere, a massive channel on YouTube, but I can see the growth coming in slowly. And it's work. I have to read the books that I cover. I have to summarize them. I have to, develop my own perspectives on them. And it's still a hobby of mine, still a passion of mine. I'm not overwhelming myself with it because I just enjoy doing this. So if you want to do something and you want to be successful at it, it doesn't mean that it's going to come right away, and you can't rely on people to push you like Pip does in Great Expectations. Pip just wanted to be great. He relied on people to push him, and he thought that, his sister, Miss Havisham, the convict, he just thought that they were just there to, put him on a pedestal, and that didn't happen. Pip doesn't reach those great expectations, and that's the truth for a lot of Americans and a lot of people in the world. Because, I mean, just look at California, right? A lot of people go to California to go to Hollywood to make it in the music industry, to make it in the acting industry. But a lot of people fail because the competition is tight, it's treacherous, it's brutal, because everyone wants to get those dreams. If dreams were hard to reach, if dreams were easy to reach, no one would ever, be famous. So that's Great Expectations. That's one thing I get from that book when I read it. The other thing that I want to bring up, so now let's talk about Letter from a Birmingham Jail. So in Letter from a Birmingham Jail, it's that same idea, the idea of working for it, the idea of not giving up. When Martin Luther King wrote A Letter from a Birmingham Jail, he doesn't just write about his problems, right? This is one thing I love about this work, is that Martin Luther King, he literally grabs all of the pain, all of the suffering, all of the strife that Black people had faced in America, around the world for centuries, all of the neglect, the hate, spitting in the face, right? That Black people received for centuries. He grabs all of that anger, that pain, he puts it into writing, and he makes you feel where he's coming from, and he he brings in logic, he brings in reason, he really puts an argument in front of your face, and he's telling you that in order for black people to achieve what they've achieved, in order for black people to get to, obtain civil rights and to become something in America and around the world, they had to work for it. They had to overcome slavery. They had to overcome their abduction from Africa. They had to build from nothing, because after slavery was abolished around in Europe, in America, in the Caribbean, around the world, black people started at zero. So wherever you were, you started at zero. You had to build your finances, build your family heritage, because no one knew where they truly came from after, countries abolished slavery. You were just kidnapped somewhere in the world and dropped off somewhere else. So you had to rebuild your ties, rebuild your family heritage. If you couldn't connect it back together, well, you just had to start again from scratch. And Martin Luther King, he says, we had to persist, we had to fight, we had to not give up to succeed and achieve civil rights and achieve our freedoms. And Martin Luther King, he achieved this dream. Listen, I have a dream, the famous I have a dream speech. He achieved that. He was successful with that. He didn't fail. That dream came to a reality. That's why people like me can be free in America today, right? So his success was because he was willing to put his life on the line. And think about that real quick. Martin Luther King was literally assassinated, right? He was assassinated for his dream. And so this is a man who wanted something so bad that he was willing to die for it, and he died for it, and his dream was, enjoyed by other people. It's enjoyed by his own race, but he didn't get to really taste his own dream. I mean, just think about that for a second. And you're trying to be a lawyer, you're trying to be a doctor, you're trying to be a success, and I don't know, you get one bad grade, you fail one time, you lose one job, you don't make one test, and you burn the house down. I mean, you just, throw your books all the way in the trash, you drop out, you're like, I'm done with this. It's success is not easy. And letter from a Birmingham jail, it proves that, it shows you that, it depicts that. The other work I'm going to bring up here again is Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller, but this takes a different road. It shows you what people do to stay in failure. Failure, for me, from my own perspective, it is a mindset. In Death of a Salesman, you have Biff. You have these two 30-year-old men living at home with their father. Willy Loman is just, he has, the whole play is about regrets, about not doing things at the right time, about not working hard, about not going after your dreams, and they all pretty much fail. I mean, Willy Loman ends up committing suicide for life insurance money. His kids, it's kind of suggested that they might become something, but not really. So no one really fights for anything. I mean, maybe Linda, the wife, could have, she probably had the most consistency in terms of looking towards brighter things, but the play, it starts off in a lukewarm place and it ends in a very bad, sad place, because their success, it wasn't really achieved, because when Willy Loman kills himself so that his kids could have money, that's just a cop-out. That's not success. And so for a lot of people who give up on their dreams, who won't change with the tides, I always say people who are successful, people who are wealthy, people who are powerful, they're just like water. They'll take any shape that they can, and they'll change with the times so that they can, reach their dreams. You have to be flexible. You have to be able to change who you are, because you grow every single day. You grow every single day, and you have to be willing to grow and to go through that struggle. Again, you can't have diamonds without, a lot of pressure. In order to have diamonds, you need pressure. So take that idea right there. That this family, the Loman family, they wanted to be something, they wanted to be successful, they wanted to achieve, but the work wasn't put in, and the ability to change, their lives was not there. In order to be successful, you have to be willing to change parts of your life. You have to be willing to go through hard times to work for it. Um, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. You're going to be brought to tears. You're going to be brought to your knees before you reach what you want to be in life. And again, you could explode out the room today. You could be born today, explode out the womb today, and everyone could tell you could be a success. But if you're not willing to work for it, it's not going to happen. Again, the Bible has several prophets and blessed people, but they suffered. They suffered before they could achieve what they were supposed to achieve. And that's life. And think about every single movie. That is the human experience. Think about every single movie, every single series. It's not always happy. It's not always good news. If every movie, every, series was always good news, no one would watch, because we want to see the people that we're rooting for go through those struggles and make it out in the end and be successful. And that's the same thing about your life. Whatever you want to achieve, according to the stories and works that I've listed, you have to be able to go through times of hardship. You have to be able to work hard for it, and you have to be able to shed some tears, sweat, hard work, and get out of your comfort zone. And if you have to get up at like 1 a.m. to study or to practice your craft, that's what you have to do, because that's how it's always been, and that's how it's always will be. So for me, from my own perspective, the number one reason of failure or of not succeeding one's dreams is giving up. I mean, a lot of people post things on YouTube, but if you don't get subscribers or thousands of views in like 10 videos, I mean, there's a conspiracy theory. I mean, YouTube's out to get them. I mean, I know people on YouTube with like 500 videos and they only have like 300 subscribers and a little bit of views. And they're still working hard at it. But if you have like 9 and you're like, man, the Illuminati's out to get me. The algorithm is out for my blood. Excuses. Just get ready. Be ready to sweat and to work hard and achieve your dreams, because that's literally how you do it. There's no shortcuts. But that's my view in literature. What causes failure, how to get out of it, and pretty much how to get out of it is to work for it, to not give up, and to not sit on your butt and blame something else for getting you there. It's really up to you. But that's all I had to say on this. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment. Help me, help you, help me again reach 5,000 subscribers. We're still growing, and we'll get there with some hard work and sweat and some good luck. So I'll see you guys in my next video.